Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And you can probably tell, you probably saw an advert at the beginning of this video. Yes, that means I am now monetized. If you haven't already seen my video, check out my last video on how I got monetized on YouTube. It was a bit of a long journey, but finally got there in the end. But check out the last video. I'll put in the link in the description as well, so you can see some of the videos I had to make, some of the titles I had to use, and so on. So if you're someone that just started out on YouTube or looking to start YouTube or just want to know how YouTube works really, check out my last post. I'll put the link in the description. So as you can probably see by today's title, yes, so I nearly actually closed out 400 pips on EURUSD in the last week. So this was the week of, I believe it was the 20th to the 24th of July, and that's when I closed out this trade. But today's video, I'm actually going to talk you through some of the steps I took to take this trade, and also some of the trades I also took whilst this trade was running. Here is the screenshot of the trade EURUSD where I took it. 1.12 is where I took this trade, and I closed it out at nearly 1.16. Yes, later on during the week the market actually smashed through 1.16 as well, but I wasn't actually expecting it to actually break through 1.16. I was expecting it to respect 1.16 because that was the highs of 2019, and that was sort of just broken through, and market went all the way up to nearly 1.18, 1.19. Went really high up. Could have held the trade, but again, not in my analysis, did not expect that. But nevertheless, still managed to close at 400 pips on this one trade. So I'll show you on the screen right now. So here we have EURUSD. So as you can see, I've just currently marked up a few levels for you guys as well, so you can see some of the trades, where I took this trade. So this trade EURUSD was taken at 1.12 at the start of July. So this trade was taken on the 1st of July on 1.12. So 1st of July, around this area here, this trade was taken. So what I'll do is circle these areas here. So around this area, this trade was taken 1st of July at 1.12. So I had a few more orders on this trade actually running, but I took this trade at 1.12, and one of the orders, this one that I'm talking about, I actually left it running for longer because it was more like a swing slash position trade that I did. So closed it out by the end of the month. I actually expected it to hold this trade much longer. I was expecting it to hold it into August, maybe midway through August is where I was expecting to close it, but I actually closed that a little bit earlier, and I expected about 3 weeks into this trade. So 1.12, this trade was taken, and this is where I exited the trade at 1.16. 1.15744 to be exact is where I exited this trade. So in total there's about 370 pips caught of this trade, so very close to 400 pips of this trade. Some of the levels that I've actually marked up here is where I actually took hedge trades, and I will go into explaining in the later part of this video what hedge trading really is and how you can actually hedge trade. It is more complicated. It will take me longer than 10 minutes to obviously explain what hedge trading is, but I will touch upon it in a little bit more detail possibly in the future videos. So what happened here, 1.12, this trade was taken for a buy, and again, like I said, I had a few more orders running. This is one of my key areas. Market came down to this area a few times, it respected this area a few times. You can see there was a few rejections, and the market actually took off about 70, 80, 90 pips nearly from this area, comes back down and sort of is struggling to break that level. Buyers are really strong around this level, you see, and then finally the market actually took off from that area. So within this area I did take a few buys, but this one trade that I want to point out is this long swing trade here of EURUSD of 1.12. And then as this trade was taken off, market approaches 1.14. Now again, a key level that I have marked up at 1.14. Now you might be thinking, why have I not done 1.125 or 1.13 or 1.135, or why did I choose 1.14 as one of my key levels? This is a key level because you can see this was actually a previous high where the market sort of reversed from. And this being a previous high, we can possibly expect the market to respect that high and come down and not sort of break through that high. So what I did here was, as the market approached 1.14, I put in two sell orders. You know how I like to usually use these multiple TPs. I put in 2 orders for sells, and market breaks through my key sort of resistance level, breaks through this area and goes and hits my stop loss. But that's okay. Why is that okay? Because I still have my EURUSD trade from 1.12 running, which means even though this trade is running and I've placed sells after that, now if this sell trade hits stop loss, I recover that loss from my 1.12 swing trade. So now imagine this trade is actually running at roughly around 200 pips profit when I took this sell trade. Of course, this trade has now been moved to break even, so I'm not losing anything. I think at this point it was actually moved to profit, so I'm not actually losing anything. If the market does reverse back down and come back to the entry, I'm actually ending the trade on a profit still, so I'm actually not losing anything. So now I place this sell trade. Again, I'm still not losing anything. Why? Because if this trade was to hit SL, my sell trade hits SL, my buy trade actually becomes in more profit. So this trade had about, I believe, about 20 or 30 pips stop loss. So this 20 pip SL was hit, but this buy trade is now in another 20 pips profit. So I've actually recovered this loss at the same time as well. However, if the market was to reverse and come down to my buy trade, this sell trade would have now been in a lot more profit. So again, I'm covered in both sides, and that is pretty much hedging. Now this trade hits SO again, I'm still in profit now. Market comes back down to this key area, so retested this key area and found it as a new area of support, and then the market takes off again. And remember, I still got my buy trade running here. Then my next key area that comes in is 1.16. Now why is my key area 1.16 and not 1.145 or 1.15 or 1.55 or any other number? Why is it 1.16? So now when I go over to the daily time frame, you will see that this 1.16 area is actually the highs of 2019. So you can see 2019 highs here just under 1.16. You get the highs of 2019, and again, being that high of 2019, I thought, okay, market may respect this area because it is a high of 2019. So this was the key area, this was the target level that I was going for in my buy trade. And then once again, I closed it out around 7.5. So again, just on the edge of this high, I actually closed this trade out. But later on during that week, the market did go on and pretty much smashed through that area and went all the way up to 1.19. So it actually went way over my target area. But again, I stuck to my plan, I stuck to my analysis. So you can see here, in total about nearly 400, but based on my entries, if I was more precise on the entries of this trade, roughly around 370 pips. I called this trade nearly 400 pips. But in total, the market actually went all the way up from my key level, went all the way up nearly 700 pips. So a massive rise from EURUSD. And even if I show you on a much larger time frame, on a weekly time frame, you can see a very huge impulsive move from EURUSD. Now what can we possibly expect? Again, this is not a signal, guys, so don't start taking this trade, but what can we possibly expect? Maybe for EURUSD to have some sort of correction, come back down, have that sort of correction, and then possibly take off again. Not going too much into detail, but once more touching upon the topic of hedging, what we had here at 1.16. I'll also put this on the screen right now as well. So around 1.16, I also took sales again. So market hits a key level, 1.16, and then I look for a reversal, again known as hedging. I actually did cash out a few pips here as well, so I actually managed to recoup some of the loss that I made at my previous key level. But overall, really good trade taken beginning of the week, beginning of the month. Okay, so camera actually died out on me just before I closed the video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video on my trade and how I took this trade, where I took this trade, and so on. Make sure you guys do watch my last video on how I got monetized on YouTube and some of the things I had to do to sort of get monetized. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video.